What if I told you that a love story nearly destroyed the greatest empire in history? Sounds crazy, right? But this is the real story of Mark Antony and Cleopatra, a romance filled with secrets, betrayals, and an ending no one saw coming. While they were living like royalty, Rome was furious. And a dangerous enemy was waiting in the shadows, ready to bring them down. What happened next was so shocking that it's still remembered today as one of the biggest twists in history. Stick with me till the end and find out how this tale of love and power drove Rome into total chaos. What if I told you that it all started with a meeting that seemed perfect, but in reality, planted the seed of destruction? It was 41 BC when Mark Antony, one of the most powerful men in Rome, set foot in Egypt, and found something that would change his life forever. Cleopatra wasn't just a queen, she was a brilliant strategist, a woman who knew exactly how to win over anyone she wanted. And Mark Antony? He walked right into the trap of power and seduction. Legend has it that when she arrived, she looked like a living goddess, dressed in clothes that shimmered under the sun, surrounded by gold and mystery. And Antony? He had never seen anything like it. It was as if destiny itself had placed a dangerous choice right in front of him. But listen up, this romance had a dark side. To the Romans, Cleopatra was a threat. The Roman Senate saw this love affair as a betrayal. And Octavian, Antony's biggest rival, was watching, just waiting for the perfect moment to strike. While Mark Antony was getting carried away with lavish feasts and banquets, Rome was planning his downfall. And the worst part? He had no idea what was coming. And that's when things started to spiral out of control. While Mark Antony and Cleopatra were living it up in Egypt, enjoying a life of luxury and romance, something terrifying was happening in Rome. Octavian, ambitious and ruthless, saw an opportunity to destroy his biggest rival. And guess what? He didn't use swords, he used something far more dangerous: words. Imagine messengers running through the streets of Rome, senators whispering in dark corners, and Octavian delivering a fiery speech to an angry crowd. He spread a shocking rumor: Mark Antony betrayed Rome for a foreign woman. And just like that, people believed it. The gossip spread like wildfire, and soon, all of Rome turned against him. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and stay tuned here on the channel. Let's hit our goal of 1 million subscribers. We're in this together. While Antony was too busy living his romance, Octavian was crafting a brilliant plan to take him down once and for all. And then, came the decision that changed everything. War was inevitable. In 31 BC, the Battle of Actium happened, and trust me, it was an absolute disaster for Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Mark Antony tried to fight, tried to resist, but he had no idea that Octavian was always one step ahead. The Roman fleet was faster, stronger, and more organized. And then, something happened that no one saw coming. Right in the middle of the battle, Cleopatra looked at the destruction and made a shocking decision: she fled. Yes, she just left, abandoning Antony. Antony was in shock, betrayed, humiliated, and completely out of options. His army crumbled in a matter of minutes. And what happened next was even more tragic. The defeat at Actium was just the beginning, and the end of this story will leave you speechless. After the catastrophic defeat at Actium, Mark Antony and Cleopatra fled to Egypt, desperately searching for a way out, but the truth? They were trapped. Enemies surrounded them from every direction, former allies had abandoned them, and little by little, everything they had built was falling apart like a house of cards. What was once a story of love and power had now turned into fear and desperation. Mark Antony was convinced it was all over. He couldn't return to Rome, and his only hope was Cleopatra. And then came the worst news of all. Mark Antony was told that Cleopatra was dead. Does this make sense to you? If it does, comment the number 1. If you have a different opinion, comment 0 and share your thoughts. In a moment of despair, he didn't think twice. He grabbed his sword and took his own life, believing everything was lost. But here's the twist, it was all a lie. Cleopatra was still alive. When she found out the truth, Cleopatra was devastated. She had lost the man she loved, lost her empire, and she knew that sooner or later, Octavian would come knocking on her door. And that's when the queen made her final decision. Cleopatra would not allow herself to be humiliated by Rome. So, according to legend, she chose a tragic end. They say that with a single, fateful act, Cleopatra allowed a venomous snake to bite her, ending her own story. A tragic end for a legendary queen. And just like that, the story of Mark Antony and Cleopatra came to an end, but their legend? It's still alive today. Cleopatra's death wasn't just the end of a queen, it marked the end of an era. With her passing, Egypt was no longer a powerful independent kingdom, it became just another province under the total control of Rome. Octavian finally got what he wanted, absolute power over the known world. And more than that, he became Rome's first emperor, taking on the name Augustus. But while Rome celebrated its victory, something much bigger was happening. The legend of Cleopatra and Mark Antony didn't die with them. On the contrary, it grew, survived through the centuries, and has reached us today as one of the greatest love and power stories of all time. From Shakespeare's plays to Hollywood blockbusters, their story has been told in 1,000 different ways. Cleopatra, often portrayed as a seductive and manipulative woman, and Mark Antony, the warrior who gave up everything for love. But was that really all there was to it? Did you enjoy this story? Give this video a thumbs up and help keep the legacy of Rome alive. What really happened between them? Was it true love or just a dangerous game of ambition? Did Cleopatra genuinely love Mark Antony, or was she just using him to protect her kingdom? These questions continue to fascinate historians and curious minds to this day. One thing is for sure, their story changed the world forever. Egypt was never the same. And neither was Rome. The world as we know it wouldn't exist without them. But at the end of the day, what truly matters isn't just what happened, it's what this story teaches us even today, about power, passion, choices, and the price we pay for them. Centuries have passed, but the story of Mark Antony and Cleopatra still lives on. A love story? Or a power game that reshaped the destiny of the world? Well, that's for you to decide. So, what do you think? Did Mark Antony and Cleopatra share a true love, or was it all just a dangerous power play that spiraled out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let us know your opinion. Do you think love can really change the fate of empires? And hey, don't forget to hit that like button, because it really helps the channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more incredible stories like this one. See you in the next video.